When I need answers about anything to do with personal growth, I go straight to my mom and my aunt. Here they are, Priscilla Babin and Tina Gilliat with the sister sauce.
Hello, everybody. I am
Hello,
Tina Gilliat, and I'm here with my beautiful sister, Priscilla Babin. And
that's
this
me.
is the Sister Sauce, episode 11 of season 2. Yay! Hey, Priscilla.
Wow. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. We're super excited today because we have a special lady that we're going to talk to and be joined by shortly for our meat sauce, and that is Christee Atwood. She's amazing.
Yeah.
And we always have so much fun talking to her. So can't wait to share that interview with you guys. But first, Priscilla,
Yes.
what hot sauce do you have for us today?
My hot sauce today is brought to you by my Instagram algorithm again. It gives me good stuff, I tell you what. So
hmm
I came across this post from a account on Instagram called Female Quotient. It's just, I guess it just one of those things it gave me. It's not something I follow in particular. It just popped up, but it was pictures and quotes from a bunch of amazing women. And so I thought I would share those because I found them very exciting and inspiring. So here's one from Selena Gomez, who I love.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
incredible, very strong young woman. She said, I have to take care of myself and not feel guilty about it. I will say no when I need to say no. Good
I
job,
like it.
Selena. And then this one comes from the beautiful Miss Dolly Parton. I can't talk right today. Miss Dolly Parton. She said, I'm not offended by dumb blonde jokes because I know I'm not dumb. I also know I'm not blonde.
Good old Dolly.
Yep. And so it's deeper than it sounds, You know
hmm
yourself, give yourself confidence. And this one is from Simone Biles, who is very inspiring, very talented young gymnast. She says, my why is nobody do it. I wake up every morning and choose to grind in the gym and come out to perform for myself. Beautiful. This one is from an oldie but a goodie, Jane Goodall. She said, it actually doesn't take much to be considered a difficult woman. That's why there's so many of us. Love
Oh,
it.
yes, love it.
And from Michelle Yeoh, who we're gonna be we talked about Wicked earlier when we were chit-chatting, and she is in the new Wicked movie, so everybody needs to check that out. But she said, ladies, don't let anybody tell you you are ever past your prime. Never give up. And this one is from Audrey Hepburn, another oldie but goodie. Nothing is more important than empathy for another human being suffering. Nothing. Not a career, not wealth, not intelligence, certainly not status. We have to feel for one another if we're going to survive with dignity. That's beautiful. This one is from Doris Lessing. Whatever you're meant to do, do it now. The conditions are always impossible. And here's another one from someone from Wicked, Cynthia Erivo, who plays Elphaba. She says, I don't believe that many things are impossible to achieve so long as you put your mind to it and take the time to get it done. Awesome. This
hmm
is from, and I'm hope I don't butcher her name, Ilona Maher. I haven't heard her name said out loud, so I don't know how, but she is also an Olympic gold medalist. Sometimes I get told my personality can be a lot and not to share my opinions so much. Every time my dad tells me not to listen and never tone myself down, he told me to pitch it faster, pass it harder, and be myself because I am amazing.
Oh, I
I
like
like that.
that.
Yep. And as ADHD people, we have a tendency to try to tone ourselves down, and we shouldn't. Should be our spicy selves. And here's one from Emily Blunt. She says, I'm a huge advocate for women being ambitious. It's just dreams with purpose. It's not an ugly word. I like that.
Oh.
Dreams with purpose. Nice.
Mm.
And from Miss Reese Witherspoon, the sooner you figure out that other people's opinions of you are never your business, and it literally doesn't matter what they think of you, you become free, totally free. Here's one from Shonda Rhimes. There is no list of rules. There is one rule. The rule is there are no rules. Happiness comes from living as you need to, as you want to. Here's one from Taylor Swift. People are going to judge you anyway, so you might as well do what you want. That's true. And the last one from the late, great Betty White. You're never too old for anything.
Yeah.
Bam. Whoops. I'm dropping my phone. That's so exciting.
That's great. Those were awesome.
Yay for ladies.
Good segue leading into our wonderful guest today, Christee, who is an amazing lady herself. So here's our interview with Christee Atwood.
Yay.
We're so excited today to have Christee Atwood with us. Christee is an incredible person, very funny and very enjoyable to talk to. And we know you're going to enjoy this interview today. She's got a background in training and has some unique ideas about that. She's written 15 books and she's had a lot of different roles in a lot of different places. And so she can talk to us about that today. Christee, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here with y'all. Y'all are so much fun.
We think so too, but we're a little biased.
Well, good. Stay biased. That's a good thing for you.
I think you're a lot of fun.
Oh, bless you.
Well, we have lots of questions, but do you want to open by just sharing with everyone what you're working on now?
Well, I'm just having fun with a lot of different things, or as y'all would say, it's all tacos. It's a lot of different things, but basically it's all just the fun stuff that I love to do. I've got my Aha Moments podcast that I've been doing recently that I'm having so much fun with. I call it a micro podcast because it's so short. It's like 5 minets or less because I have a very short attention span. I just, ADHD all the way, baby. So that it is just the right length for me, but I have fun because it ties in my mission for life, which is linking laughter and learning. Because the first part of it is humor. And then the second part of it is tips on whatever topic I'm talking about.
That's awesome. It's a perfect combination.
Yeah.
I like it. It's fun for me.
I didn't realize, I guess I was behind the times, but Priscilla started talking about it a few weeks ago. And I'm like, Christee has a podcast? How did I miss that? And so I went and I looked, I'm like, wait, the episode's only like 2 minutes. And Priscilla's like, yeah, but it's really funny. And I love the way you have the lessons in it. It's always, there's no accidental learning about it. You're going to learn something if you listen to it. It's awesome.
I'm glad you think so. I have fun with it because it's basically that first part is just me riffing about whatever topic I'm talking about, so, and embarrassing myself quite frequently. So that's what I do, but then actually being able to have some real information at the end that gives people some tips on how to deal with things, like the one coming up. This next one that comes out is going to be on decluttering memorabilia. So that's, it's kind of interesting to be able to do that.
Oh, we need that. We need that. We've just been going through my mom's house and oh my goodness, you don't want to throw anything away, right?
Yes,
but then you're like, come on, y'all, we need to make a decision.
But everything's important at that point,
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But we're finding some cool stuff too. And so I'm anxious. I can't wait to hear that podcast. But there's ways, Priscilla and I have talked about that, ways to take those memories and digitize them and do things like that.
Exactly.
So we just haven't gotten around to it for the most part.
And don't forget the memorial bunnies that you can use clothing for to make little bunnies, soft stuffed bunnies. I thought that was such a cool thing.
Oh, well, you talk about that in the podcast?
You know what? I need to go back and add that in because I didn't put it in there. I've made I'm really bad at it, but I made pillows out of some of the shirts and stuff. But I know people people who make the little bunnies, and they're so cute.
I've seen
Oh,
quilts.
Yeah,
I,
quilts are cool too.
yeah, and I think I saw like somebody made like a teddy bear out of the grandpa's ties. Like
Oh,
he was always
neat.
wearing ties, and so they
oh,
used his
that's
ties.
such great ideas.
Isn't it
Yeah.
Priscilla's
wonderful?
daughter, Renee, made her a quilt for Christmas. So we know somebody who quilts now.
Ooh, you're ready now.
I'm going to
Yeah.
start getting my stuff
Mine,
together for Renee to quilt for me.
mine
That's
is
a great thing to do with old T-shirts. You know those ones you don't want to throw away from events and stuff. A
Concerts.
quilt
Yeah.
oh,
T-shirt is great. A quilt with that is great. Yeah.
hmm
What were
yeah.
you going to say, Priscilla?
I was just saying my quilt isn't old things though. It's thematic. It's all my
Ooh.
favorite. It's little patterned squares of that represent different TV shows. I don't know where she
Awesome.
found this fabric, but there's there's it's my four favorite TV shows. The Office, Ted Lasso, Parks and Recreation, and The Good Place. And
Oh, good ones.
so they're all over there.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
I know. I
Yeah.
didn't even know she knew how to sew. So when I opened it up, I was
The
like,
funny thing
what?
is she said she didn't even know herself. She went and borrowed a sewing machine from the library, which we talk about in our another one of our episodes where um, we talked about all the unusual things you can borrow from the library.
Mhm.
Even art. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
awesome. Well, I especially like your announcer. He has such a great voice, and his little cute openings and closings are so
Yeah.
good.
He picks on me terribly, but what can I say? He works cheap. It's my husband. So I let him do them.
David's got such a great radio voice.
He really
Yeah,
does.
I'm kind of partial to it.
Where is he from? Is he from Louisiana?
He's from New Orleans.
Because I kind of detect a little bit of an accent, but I didn't know if
Mm,
it was maybe his radio voice
right.
persona that he puts
Well,
on.
his years and years of broadcasting kind of made him clean most of it out, so that it's very,
Oh.
a non-noticeable accent most of the time. But then he falls back into it because when you got New Orleans in the boy, it's not going to go away.
True.
That's like our mama. She was a professor, and so she had her professor voice. But when she was at home and she would slide into that ninth ward,
Uh-huh.
that's where I picked it up.
I love it.
And that's why for years I called my boss George.
George.
I love it. I love it.
George,
Yep.
George, I
You
have
can
a
take the person
question.
out of New Orleans, but you can't take the New Orleans out of a person.
That's for
Mm-mm.
sure.
For real,
Mhm.
for real. Pris, you have a question?
Oh, well, I was gonna, I was thinking about David at the same time as you. I was gonna say something about him and how funny, his openings and closings and everything. But I get flustered. I'm fangirling.
Oh, you're kind. You're so
I
kind.
I will remember that one of the first times I ever heard of Christee was talking to my sister-in-law, Lori, who is one of Christee's BFFs.
Absolutely.
And she told me, oh, you need to have my friend Christee's new book. And at the time it was, oh, it's blurry. It's blurry
Uh,
because I have my,
There you go. You
there
got
we
it.
go.
You got it.
But, and of course, everybody listening can't see anything. But
in
it's one of the
celebration.
first. Was this your first humor book?
No, I had one actually some years before, but it's
Okay.
out of print now. That was Journal
Ah.
of a Midlife Crisis was the first one I had.
Ah,
This one is in celebration of elastic waistbands, and you can see it's been loved. It's the spine is a little bent, but and I actually have a dedication in the front signed by Christee, so like I'm special. And and I even have the bookmark.
Oh man, yeah, you're
I have
you're
the
the total
bookmark.
thing. I love
I
it.
have the package with, you can't see it because it's so tiny, so it's not going to show up on the screen, but there's a picture of you on the back, Christee, and it's you a long time ago.
The hair was
You're
different,
a little
wasn't it?
baby. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Little baby Christee on the back.
Baby
I got the little
Christee.
ends. I think it's changed color over time. Not the same color it used to be. Shows how long I've had this.
Priscilla and I
so
recently. Oh, go ahead,
first
Pris. I'm
Christee
sorry.
experience.
Priscilla and
So
I
that was your first
recently-
introduction to me, huh?
Yeah.
We recently celebrated our 1 year anniversary of podcasting, and we had used some clips from other episodes in the 1 year anniversary episode. And it was so funny because I said, look at how much our faces changed and how, well, we've both lost weight. But the other thing was the hair different every other week. All these different hairdos. I said, oh my gosh, well, it's always fun to look back, right?
Yeah.
I enjoyed Priscilla actually let me take a gander at the book. And it was so funny because when I listened to your podcast and when I read the chapters from your book, I thought they're similar in that they're like bites of information. I loved that. And the humor is, you have such a great sense of humor and it's so much like ours. So we can totally relate to it. But
I'm so sorry.
That's awesome.
Oh my goodness.
Well, you also doing a new kind of coaching, or the workshops that you do?
Yes. You remember, let's see here, a couple of years ago, the Book of Me came out, and I started doing some workshops on journaling for people, and just the different kinds of journaling and the way it can help people, whether it's, the diary style or whether it's therapy style, whatever. And I really got into it and did a lot of workshops, and it seemed like it helped people. So I've came across this certification in journal therapy, and I said, gotta try this. So I went through that, so it gave me some a kind of a broadened understanding of it and some more information to use. So I'm gonna be doing some workshops with that.
That's awesome. We might have to take a
need a
drive and
workshop.
come to a workshop.
Well, I might have to come down to New Orleans and come do a workshop. That'd be more fun.
True. It'll be easier for us.
Well, I do enjoy these because, people don't realize what journaling can do for you. It can be therapy. It can be practicing writing. If you're thinking about writing something, just writing snippets in there, or it could just be clearing your head in the morning, doing your morning pages. So I'm a big fan of journaling.
I journaled a lot when I was younger and had kept my journals from my teenage years and everything all the way until my house flooded in 2012. But I have not done a lot of it in recent years. And I do think it's a really great thing to do. I just have to take the time to do it.
I got started back onto it back in 93 when I read the book, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And she talks about doing this thing called the morning pages, where the first thing you get up in the morning, you grab your cup of coffee, you don't look at your emails, you don't look at anything, you grab your journal and you write 3 pages nonstop. It doesn't matter what it's about. You just get everything in your head out of your head and keep putting it on there. When you get to the point that you can't think of anything else to say, you write, I can't think of anything else to say. And by the end of that sentence, you'll think of something else to say. You just keep writing and writing, and it's just clearing your head out for the day. And I got so hooked on that I really loved it. And then in the later years, it started becoming where I needed therapy. So my journal became my therapist. In fact, okay, y'all are going to think I'm weird, but now my journal is actually me talking and then my doctor talking back and forth. And that's how I work through it. So it's very much like my Calling Home book, where talking to mom. Well, this is talking to my therapist. And it's just kind of interesting.
Wow, that's really cool.
I'm writing this down.
Yeah, really.
Y'all get your pens and paper out and take notes.
So when you say your doctor talking, is it really you being your own doctor, or
yes?
Okay, that's what I thought you meant. Wow.
But sometimes I feel like my mom works her way in there too. I just, because she's in so much of everything I do. So
yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Same. Yeah.
The collective knowledge of your own from external input and from your own ability to know yourself and
Yes.
We've had a
self-awareness.
lot of conversations about that recently, why we're like we are, and then we go, oh, that was mom. That was a mom thing. And I didn't realize how much I was like my mom until we started talking through it. And yeah, it's a good thing though, right?
Mom and
really
ADHD, which mom gave us.
Yes. Y'all too.
Yeah, she
Okay.
got
Actually,
ADHD. I got ADHD and Graves.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't want anything else mom had. Thanks.
Or dad.
Well, I do have
We don't want anything else
this,
dad
but I
has.
only have a little bit.
Well,
No.
my mom and dad were just amazing people, but my dad was Lebanese and had the Lebanese features, the large nose and things like that. And mom was this delicate, beautiful woman, but she was a a rabble rouser, as we say. She was just a rebel about everything. She just was crazy. So what happens? I get mom's personality and dad's looks. I said, this is just not fair.
I think you're beautiful.
You're kind.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, it's like we said the same thing about our parents too. My dad was like a musical genius. I mean, he could pick up the guitar and just play, and he never was taught to do that. My mom, same, taught herself how to play the piano, and she played all kinds of instruments. Renee got her daddy's and our mama's talent. She had it from both sides. So Renee is so musical. But Priscilla and I are like, I took piano lessons for 8 years and I could probably save my life with it, but
I had a piano teacher
for sure.
I think I had a piano teacher for a month and he whacked my fingers with a ruler and my mom kicked him out and that was it.
I remember that.
They had different ways of teaching.
Our mom was so talented and she was an amazing artist, and both of us are like, she couldn't pass that on. We had to get diseases and disabilities.
My handwriting's not even legible.
Oh, mine's gotten so bad now. I look like a doctor. You can't read a thing I write.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, I wanted to ask about the journal. So the therapy workshops, the journal therapy workshops, do you do a lot of writing in the workshop itself, or is it more to teach you how to go about journaling?
It's a mix of both, actually.
Oh,
because
okay.
it's basically, we go over the different kinds of journaling, we talk about it and go through ways to do it, and then we have some starter prompt questions to kind of get you going in there.
Oh, I like
and
that.
so you get a chance to practice with it and have some time with it. We also do a little bit of artwork covering on the cover of it, which is kind of fun, so you create it like your own vision board, but a vision journal.
Last time we interviewed you, we talked, or 2 times ago, maybe, we talked about vision board and how great that would be to have like a vision board workshop. So that sounds really cool.
Yeah. Now it's a vision journal, because I figure you see your journal more often than you would any picture that you put up somewhere. So why not have it where every day when you pick it up, your vision board is staring at you?
That's awesome. Priscilla, we could draw our little hearts from church. Our stars from church. Our pastor is big on that kind of stuff. So at one point, I think we did hearts and we wrote stuff on them. And then this past Sunday, we did stars, guided by a star. So you put the thing that is something you want to accomplish this year to help other people. And so that was fun. We did that at church Sunday. So we could put our star words on there. That's awesome. I like that idea.
Good. We'll have to do one.
So you're continuing the legacy of your elastic waistbands.
I am. The Elastic Waistband Society is the next book that's coming out, and it is based upon the same sort of format as in celebration of elastic waistbands. And the thing that I'm doing with it now is once I get it out, I'm going to be traveling with it, and instead of having book readings or signings, it's going to be elastic waistband parties. And so that way, all of us can get together and talk about it and just have a good time. The fact that we go back and forth on that elastic, and that's just the way we are, so it's a fun thing to be able to talk about, but it's basically just about life and how we've learned to be more flexible as we go on.
Oh, I love that. And
You
so
know,
where are the parties going to be, at bookstores or?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be looking. And if y'all know of any good ones, bookstores, libraries, I know there's a good library in New Orleans that I always come to. But also book clubs. If they have enough people, I can come and do that at a book club. So I've had some fun with some of those groups before. So any place like that that you can think of, that's where I'll be hitting.
About
okay.
when do you think that's coming out?
Probably within the next 2 months.
Oh, wow.
Yay.
Yeah,
Oh, I can't wait.
yeah.
That's
Yay.
exciting.
It's fun. I couldn't let my humor side sit still for too long. I get into
Mhm.
serious stuff and then it's like, oh wait, I got to be silly again for a while. So this is my chance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was going to ask you about that because I know you did some stand up for a while. Are you doing that at all?
I did a little bit recently, but I haven't done real stand up in quite some time. I've done some open mic stuff, but I miss doing stand up a little bit because now I'm older and I have totally different humor. But of course, I don't know whether the audiences probably get younger. They probably wouldn't get me as well unless I can find middle-aged audiences.
Oh, I know. I actually did a speech that I thought was hysterical, and my husband thought was hysterical. And I did it for a Toastmasters club at the local University in New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
and they just kept staring at me like they didn't know.
Oh,
And I was just mortified. Thank God it was only a 6-minute speech.
but doesn't that kill you? It's like, don't you get this? Of course, I go in places and I say things and people are like, what's that? They have no idea because my references to things are stuff that's a little bit older. So it's like,
Mhm.
I'll mention TV shows. I remember one time walking in saying, oh, what is this? Some kind of Peyton Place? And they're all like, what's that? And that was one of the first soap operas. And I'm like, but I'm trying to explain it to him. And I'm like, never mind. It was a joke. Never mind.
Yep, yep. Uh,
Um,
I tend to do that as well.
Yep.
I catch myself explaining stuff that I say to my kids all the time.
Yes. Yes.
And
Priscilla still has kids at home though, so she's better about it.
She probably
uh,
She gets
learns
a
from
lot of the
them.
jokes I don't get.
Yeah.
oh, from the younger generation, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, I know all about Skibbity Toilet and
Say what?
Ohio. I don't know.
I don't know that
I
stuff
don't
at all.
understand half of the things that Gen Alpha or whatever.
Isn't that wild? Alpha.
They,
God.
and Beta's coming. It's
Yeah. Oh
like,
my
why
gosh.
so many generations? I don't know.
Wow.
The Gen Z,
Mm-hmm.
millennials. I get the
Mm.
millennials because I think I'm, just slightly young enough that I can kind of get the millennials,
So
but
you're kind of a cross between the X and Y there a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
my
I'm way out of it. I'm back in the boomers. So I am so far out removed from some of
I'm a
that
boomer
humor.
as well. Yeah.
Okay.
well, I
Yeah.
mean, two of my kids are millennials, I think. Although maybe Nico might be on the cusp with Gen Z. I don't know where they start and end, so I lose track. I was born in 73, so I'm fairly firmly in Gen X, but like I understand some of the millennial stuff.
We were at lunch one Sunday, and of course, my husband's 71, or is he 72? I don't remember. 71. And I'm 63, and Priscilla's 51, and we're like, we got so many different generations at this table because we had
Yeah.
Clover and Joe, and
Wow. Isn't that interesting? Just to realize how many generations you have sitting there and how you could say one thing and everybody would have a different definition for it. I found
Mhm.
that a lot in my training stuff because I can say, okay, y'all tell me if I asked you all to dress really professionally, how would you dress? And the older people would be saying, oh, suit and tie, nice dress, whatever like that. And the younger generation saying, well, I'd wear my polo shirt and maybe my khakis or something. It's totally different views of simple words. So no wonder we have so much confusion. We all have a different vocabulary.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's true. And times
And
have changed so much too. I used to, whenever I spoke at any kind of a conference or anything, I always wore a suit. And I spoke at something not long ago, and the speakers had like Dockers and polo shirts on. And I'm like, okay, I guess maybe I'm overdoing it. I'm overdressed. And so this last thing I spoke at, I just wore a nice dress, and I was so much more comfortable. I hate suits.
That's nice. Yeah, there's something to be said for that comfort stuff. Yeah, but I know what you mean, because when you're all dressed up, it's like you're kind of yelling that I'm from a different generation.
Mhm.
That's a
Yeah.
good question for you. Is what age groups do you get at your journal workshops?
Usually it's middle-aged and above, so it's usually 40, 50s, those ages, 60s.
All right.
Good.
Yeah.
A good group. A good
Yeah.
group.
That's a fun group, because the sense of humor, all the pretense starts falling away as we get older. And it's like, we'll talk about anything. And I think that's just so much fun when you get to that point where I'm not embarrassed by it. I know, these are issues I have, and I understand. I know when I get on the floor, I'm going to have some help to get up. I know that these things, I know that I have to take pictures of many medicine bottle, the little labels, to make it bigger so I can see what like that. But I celebrate it instead of being embarrassed by it now, which is really kind of fun.
That's awesome. I love that. You just mentioned all the things that we have to do.
Uh-huh. I have to take pictures of the tags and the clothes and blow them up so I can read them.
Or instructions on new equipment or whatever that we get. We just got a new Google Chrome stick, and none of us could read the instructions. I had to.
And it's cruel. They put that little bitty type on stuff like arthritis medicine, which we know the people who get that medicine are older. Come on, make it this big for us, okay?
Arthritis medicine with the safety cap that nobody can
Yes, yes.
That only the kids can get into.
Uh-huh.
You have to get a kid to get it for you. Yeah.
Child proof?
Yeah.
Adult proof.
Yes.
The challenge is that we're not embarrassed by our stuff. And I realized the other day that because I've become so willing to talk about weird stuff, we had a party at our house a few weeks ago, and I realized after everybody left that I had a conversation with two men about overdosing on estrogen. I was like, we were talking about that. And that's how we got into it, was we were talking about the small print on medicines. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I overdosed on estrogen a couple of weeks ago.
I love it. I love it.
Thankfully, I didn't tell them how I knew I had overdosed.
Oh,
That
you
would have
held
been a
some
bit
back.
much.
Okay, I get it.
I was proud of myself for that much anyway.
But hey, you're not predictable. That's fun. I like to keep people guessing a little bit.
It's so funny too, because people will go, "Oh, Tina must be drinking." No, that's just my personality. I used to say that about my husband all the time. Everybody thought he was always drunk, but that was just his personality. He didn't drink when we were younger. He still doesn't really. But when we were younger, he didn't drink, and people would go, they'd come up to me, "I think AJ's had a little bit too much." I said, "AJ doesn't drink. That's Diet Coke."
Oh, that's great.
Normal.
Priscilla's got a question.
I'm looking at. I've been looking. I was looking at your website last night, Christee, and I think it has grown since the last time I looked at it. There's so much stuff on here. Like, I looked at it and I thought, this is just like anything you might want to look up. It's on Christee's website.
I had fun with that resource page. I had
That's
fun
what
with the
I'm looking
resource
at in
page.
particular. Well,
Yeah.
like the About You page is your entire resume, and like your entire life story is on that one page. I think
Which is pretty darn long. Yeah.
there's a lot to tell. And then, but the
love
links
it.
are so awesome. You have personality quizzes and games and meditation stuff and all kind of advice type stuff and personal growth stuff, like everything, exercise.
I'm glad
Time
you like
management.
that.
I'm just scrolling.
That's
Yes.
fun. That's my attention span. See, I just jump from one thing to another, but I figure, there's probably other people out there who are interested in a lot of different things like I am. So why not?
Yes,
I
that's because
love that.
like us, whose attention span jumps from one thing to another. So as I was scrolling through, I'm going, "Oh, I need to open this one. Oh, I need to open this one." So it'll probably end up where I have tabs for each of them open on my phone, and my children will find it and start closing them on me because that's what happens.
So, well, are you ADHD too, Christy?
Yeah. Uh huh.
Okay. Well, that makes so much sense because Priscilla, I was telling Priscilla, I've always really, this was a while back when we did an episode on ADHD and
Mhm.
reading all the stuff about it. And I had always joked that I was, but I never really knew for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And when we did that episode and we did all our research, I was like, oh my gosh, I have been beating myself up for years because I go from one thing to another and never really work at one thing till it gets amazing, right? I
Yes.
just,
Yes. Exactly. If you could
and I
focus on one thing by now, you'd be the king of that thing. But
thank you.
that's exactly what I do. It's like once I get there and I get this all stuff that's going really good, it's like, okay, I'm bored with that. Now it's something else, And
Mhm.
what do you do? We need managers to manage us and tell us you need to do this. That's what we need.
We
Really,
need that. I think we're okay to be like we are because
it's just yeah,
seeing
different.
myself through seeing myself by looking at you inspires me because I go, I've always loved you and thought you were so amazing. And you're so similar to the way we are, the way we jump from one thing to another. I think, well, shoot, it works for Christy. It can work for us too. I feel better about myself because I say, I like this.
Well,
Mhm.
I look back and some of the writers that I love didn't just do one kind of style of writing. And I realized, okay, so there's other people like us. Madeline L'Engle, who wrote A Wrinkle in Time, which is one of my favorite childhood books that I read, and I reread it every so often. She did all kinds of other topics and articles and stuff like that. She wasn't just a young adult author. And I think about that and realize, well, maybe we're just Renaissance people in a world of specialized people. We're Renaissance people who like to touch a little bit of everything.
Oh,
So
that's a pretty way to put it.
yeah,
I like
it's
that.
Yeah, I like that.
yeah.
I've heard
Well,
some people say that neurodivergent people are actually the normal, that neurotypical people are the oddballs.
I
I
like
like that.
that.
I'll go with that. I'll go along with that for sure.
Yeah, I
Mm.
like that too. And Christy, you know that I've just like you dabbled in public speaking and I use the word dabble because that's what it
Ha
was
ha.
and it still is. And one of the things that people used to tell me, experienced speakers used to tell me all the time was you need to find your niche. You need to find your niche. And I was obsessed with that and but could not figure out what that niche was and or niche as they say. And one of my friends finally said to me, I don't agree with that. I think that if you're qualified to speak on 25 different topics, you should go for it. And I've actually done public speaking on stuff that I knew nothing about, but I know how to research. And if somebody comes to me, I was asked by one of the groups that I used to speak to regularly about leadership and things like that. They said, would you be willing to do a workshop on networking? And I'm like, Priscilla will tell you, I am the worst networker there is. I am socially awkward. I don't like talking to people I don't know. It takes me bringing my husband to a networking event and he goes around and meets people, then introduces me because I can't handle it. And so I'm like, this is going to be cute. Me doing a networking workshop, but I did it and they liked it. So there. I know how to
There you go.
research.
You can do the Yeah, that's the thing. You know how to find the information, and that's what it's all about. And that's my topics are all over the place. What I figure is it's not necessarily the topic that's my niche or whatever niche, but it is my style of presentation.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So my humor and information, that's my style. That's what I do. So I can talk about almost anything on that with that style, and That's what I do.
And
That's
we like
awesome.
it.
I have fun with it. I enjoy it a lot.
That's
What's
awesome.
your favorite thing on your resources page? You have a favorite?
Um, well, I'm kind of partial to the meditation because I created it.
Ah,
I was really proud of that. I did it for myself, and I thought, other people might be able to use this one, so I put it on there, and I'm kind of proud of that one. I
That's
love
the
the
guided
I love the
meditations.
personality. Yep, that's the one I did,
Okay, I'll have to take a look at
and
that further.
and y'all do if y'all haven't done the personality quiz, y'all really should do it. It's fun. It's amazing to see how much it recognizes who we are, and I think that if more people understood each other's personalities, we'd get along a heck of a lot better.
I
that's
always
true.
used to get confused though, when this one company that I worked for a short time, I was there for a little over a year and I was the general manager. And this company was real into those personality surveys and
Mm-hmm.
um, what's the one that everybody does?
Disc.
Yes,
Mhm.
disc analysis. Now this wasn't disc. It was like a more extensive thing.
Uh,
And you took this quiz and it came back and told you all these things. And then what it did was it took everybody else's profile from the company, and I don't think they did it for everybody, but since I was in a higher role, they gave me profiles for each person in the company.
wow.
And it was comparing my personality to theirs. And it would say, this is what you're going to struggle with this person. And this is who you're going to get along with the best. And it was interesting. I found
Wow.
it mostly accurate as I continued my employment there. Um, it was a shame that I didn't get profiles on the owners of the company, but then I
Ah.
would have realized how short-lived the job would be by my choice, not theirs.
Mm,
But yeah,
mhm.
but it was really interesting, and I thought, but the problem with it is it got a little overwhelming, right? Because then I'm like trying to
Yeah.
judge how should I handle this situation based on their personality instead of just handling it the way I normally would. But
Hmm. Yeah, I don't go into the detailed personality as much when I'm teaching people how to work with personality types. I do mostly break it down to a couple of questions, like are they more outgoing or reserved? And are they more focused on tasks or people? You use
yeah.
those two, and you can figure out how to work with almost anybody. It doesn't matter what their personality is. You notice that they're more outgoing, you work with them like that. If they're more reserved, you pull back, but you recognize that you're going to have to kind of draw information out of them,
Mm.
and if they're focused on tasks, you don't come to them with a lot of minutia at the beginning. You come to them with, okay, here's what I got. Whereas if they're focused on people, you better say good morning to them before you get started on talking about what you want to do, or they're going to say, yeah, and how are you today? So that's the basic concept.
That's interesting. We had this lady that I worked with that used to get mad if anybody sent her an email and just got right to the point. And I was obsessive about not wasting people's time. So I would just send an email that said, hey, Lorna, can you tell me about this? And she would do that exact thing. She would write back, good morning, how are you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, ouch,
I
sorry.
was doing a business writing class, and some of the older people in the class. This was when I was a little younger. Some of the older people in the class told me, "Oh no, if you started out without the salutation on there, I'm not going to pay attention to it. That you don't do that." And I
Isn't
was,
that funny?
"Whoa, okay." So I adjusted how I did my emails.
Yeah, yeah. We have several people that will email back and forth with some stuff that I work on, and they're so blunt, but knowing them outside of email, they're such amazing people. So it's kind of like you got to keep thinking, okay, I know her. I know she's a precious person. She doesn't mean to come across this way.
Uh-huh. And see if people would do that more often, we would get along better. It's just recognizing that people have different ways of addressing and communicating, and you just try to adapt to their style a little bit, and it makes things a lot better.
Yeah. And listening, and really paying attention is so important because it's like that accidental learning that you talk about. You kind of learn how to deal with people based on their responses to you, and you have to listen for those, right?
Yeah, and people aren't as good at listening as they used to be. Most of us are just listening to wait for our turn to speak again, and we don't hear what's being said, and that's a crying shame because that listening is like the best gift we can give anybody.
So true. So
Yeah,
true.
I've heard it said that people listen to respond and not to understand.
Yes,
And that's so
exactly.
evident so much more and more. And I feel like and it's not just listening with the ears, it's the reading too. I'll send an email to, to a customer service or something with a question. And the response I get back seems to have nothing to do with what's said. And I'm
That
like,
is so true.
I get that. Yes, yes.
Or
And
they read, you have 8 questions and they respond with the answer to the first thing because that's all they.
that's the response
yes,
they get.
yes, I totally get that.
Mm.
Oh, no,
Oh.
I was just looking at your YouTube channel too. Your YouTube channel is chock full of good stuff, all kind of stuff. And including at least one 7-second video of one of the cats.
Falling off. That was just funny to me. The cat kept trying to go for the ceiling fan and just fell off the end of the bed.
I mean,
Ah,
to
yes.
enrich our lives. So
I never used to get into cat videos or anything like that, but between Priscilla, me seeing things on Instagram and TikTok that I think Priscilla and my daughter would enjoy, and all the cat lovers in our family. And I'm like, I don't even like cats. Why am I getting so many cat videos? It's because every time I get them, I send them to them. And so it thinks that I love
So
them.
yep.
there you go.
Mhm.
The algorithm.
Mhm. The algorithm. My
Ooh.
my grandcat has her own Instagram.
First of
Winky, you have
there's
to
two
look up
interesting things with
Winky.
this, okay? First, grand cat and own Instagram account. That both of those make me go, what?
Yes, I don't have any grandchildren. I only have grand animals. I would say grand cats, but I also have a grand snake. So I used to have some
Okay.
grand bugs, but the bugs died.
I'm sure the snake could have had something to do with that.
No, they were in
Okay.
separate containers.
Okay. 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 Now y'all are hurting me.
Yeah, the isopods didn't make it, but the snake's still good. He's long. But anybody check out Winky on Instagram.
Winky.
Yeah.
Okay. This I gotta check. Is it
Oh,
I
spelled
got,
is it spelled
I
with
got
a Y or an IE?
a Y.
Okay.
Let me find her Instagram and I can tell you exactly what it is because I can never remember the name of it. That's terrible.
we'll have to
She's
put Winky's
adorable.
Instagram in our show notes.
Yeah, everybody check out Winky. It might make Simon jealous and he'll have to get his own Instagram. That's
Oh,
my
uh-oh.
other grand cat. I keep
Mm.
expecting to get more grand cats any day because they're both always out for looking for friends. Lil Winky Baby
Looking for friends.
is
Okay.
Lil Winky Baby. LILWINKYBABY. Lil Winky
Little Winky
Baby.
baby. Let
Yeah,
me write this
check out
down.
Lil Winky Baby. She is very cute and adorable. I'm not sure if she likes me, but she's really cute. We went to visit and it was a tough sell. Like, why are all these people coming into your apartment, Mama? I will bite them all and scare them away. But she's a
little,
good baby.
little Winky's got a tough side there.
Yeah, it's got a crazy side. They
I
all
had a
do.
question for you about your podcast, Christy. How often do you publish episodes of it? Is it on a set schedule
It
or is it?
was. It was twice every week, and then I lost my voice for 2 weeks. So
Oh,
I was just now
wow.
getting it back again. Yeah. I had a class I did with some people, and one guy in the front row kept coughing and sneezing, and I kept thinking, this is gonna happen.
Uh,
And sure enough, I lost my voice right through Christmas and also. So
oh,
yeah, so I'm I'm getting back on schedule now, twice a week.
Okay, I thought that's what I had figured out, but I wanted to ask.
Mm-hmm.
It's how do you come up with the topics that you're going to talk about? Do you plan like way ahead, or does it just kind of come to you right before?
I'll sit down and just think about a whole bunch of topics and list them. And then whatever strikes me at the moment, that's what I'll go for. So I have a whole bunch of them, outlined right now. So it's kind of fun that way. Then I just pick
That's
what I'm in the mood
awesome.
for.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep. And a lot of them are on keywords and stuff like that I find that, people do a lot of searches for. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that is interesting. I'll look that up. So it gives me a chance to do that research stuff that I like.
That's cool. Yeah, I think Priscilla and I was particularly enjoying your episode about overthinking things.
Mm-hmm.
Because Priscilla and I both overthink everything. And thankfully, we both recognize that in each other. And we're like, you're overthinking this.
Uh-huh.
And we
Mm-hmm.
kind of call each other out. Funny how we can call each other out on that kind of stuff, but we never recognize it in ourselves until,
Mm-hmm.
or like
Isn't
you
that
said, we'll
interesting?
be our own therapist and we'll go, you're overthinking this.
Yes.
But
It's
that's
so
what it,
easy to do.
yeah, and the micro part of it, the shortness, that's one of the things that we've struggled with because we sit there and we go, what are we going to do? What are we going to talk about on our podcast? And sometimes we plan a month and a half in advance or 2 months in advance. And sometimes we're like the week before going, my gosh, we still haven't figured out what we're going to talk about this week. And,
Mm-hmm.
it's frustrating because we've been doing videos and podcasts for so long now. It's been like what, for us, like 5 years total, I think, or
Wow.
4 years total. And so you run out of things to talk about. But thankfully, we have interesting friends like you.
That's kind. Most people use different words to describe me than interesting. I know when they use unique, there's a problem. But no, I just, it's because of the ADHD mind that there's different things that bounce off, and I'm like, oh, wait, I'll have a moment. I had a moment yesterday when I was working on my webpage, trying to update it and everything. And I looked at it and AI had created, it'll create a description of what the picture is that you have there. And it's just in a few words, it says, woman in her 40s with gray hair looking off camera. And all I focused on was in her 40s. Yeah. And so that's probably going to become one of my podcasts in the near future, how you can focus on the things you want to and ignore the other stuff.
I love that.
Cooler.
40.
Sometimes AI is friendly.
Sometimes, yes. I do enjoy it sometimes because, I always looking for somebody to talk to. So for me, I end up talking to AI a whole lot. And that tells you how many friends I have. But
I have mixed feelings about it. I hadn't had much experience with it. And then a friend of mine was telling me when we first started our podcast, she said, listen, I may use because she doesn't do like a regular podcast, but she does a lot of interview little segment videos for her YouTube channel.
mm-hmm.
And so I had liked her backgrounds and things. And so we were talking about that. And I said, any advice that you have? And she said, well, when you write your descriptions of your videos or your posts for them on Facebook, don't be afraid to use AI, Chat GPT, or whatever, because it can come up with some really interesting ways of saying things. So I decided to try it. I did a post about a friend of mine who's an artist, a friend of ours who's an artist, Catherine. And she's this incredible artist. And I had gone to hear her speak, and I wanted to post the pictures of her speaking at Loyola. And it was just funny because I asked AI to write the description, and it was so flourishing and all. But I went with it just to see what Catherine would say. And I was like, you got to go see my post that I tagged you in. And she just she texted me and she's like, "Oh my God, did you really write that?" And I'm like, "No, AI did."
You know, AI can be your friend if you are very specific with it. You
Yes.
have to tell it what to act as. Like when I'm trying to outline a new class or something and I'm trying to organize it in my head, I'll say, okay, acting as an instructional designer, come up with the outline for a 3-hour class on such and such, and give me ideas of what bullet points would be in each section. And it'll do that. And it's a way to,
Wow.
yes, and it'll actually organize your thoughts for you. And then you can do your research on everything. So AI is not writing it, but it helps you organize your thoughts. I love it like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I've asked it a lot of times for keywords on as far as for podcast topics and things like that. Hey, what are the topics that I should be thinking about for self-improvement? And it'll give you this great list. So, it's kind of worth it.
Wow. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've heard pros and cons, and definitely worry about limiting young people's creativity. Like if the teacher tells you write a haiku about such and such, and you just tell AI to do it, then you're not really practicing those creative or, priming those creative juices or whatever. But I do see how it could be helpful. It's scary though, how they can take videos and create. I told Priscilla the other day, I said, have you seen those videos with America's Got Talent where the woman comes out and turns
Turns
into a
into
dog? And she said, I'm pretty sure that's AI. And I was like, oh, duh. Okay. I wondered how they were doing that.
exactly. Exactly. The guy turning into a horse, I was going, what? How is he doing it? Why? Oh, it's like, okay, never mind.
And as much as I've done video editing myself, I'm sitting there going, but Simon Cowell is sitting right there seeing it happen. And then I'm like, oh, stupid. That's just editing. You know?
Yeah. And that's the scary part of AI. But I guess that's any tool that we come up with, people will find ways to use it that aren't quite as ethical as we would want.
Mm-hmm.
I
So,
agree.
hey, they're
scary.
doing it. I mean, they've been doing it with email for years. That's why we get Nigerian prince emails all the time, and they do it with the phone even. That's why we hear about our extended car warranty.
Oh,
Or the text messages about the package that
Oh,
is
yeah.
it's being
rerouted
held at
and we
the
need to
post office.
complain.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
The
Yes.
scammers are getting
Tricky.
more and more ridiculous. Not to totally get off topic, but I was telling Priscilla, I'm the email administrator for my church, and Priscilla's on council, so she has a church address. And I was telling her, we were talking about one of the scams that somebody tried to pull recently. And I said, they actually will go on the church website and find out who the staff members are and request that direct deposit be transferred to a new account, pretending that they're that person. And it happened to me. They posed as me using an email address that was not mine, but was labeled Tina Gilliard, and asked our accountant to please change my direct deposit from my paycheck to go to this new bank account. And
Oh.
thankfully, they had done it with another staff member right before that. And he realized it was a scam. The accountant realized it was a scam because that person didn't have direct deposit.
Ooh.
And I said, Jeff, did you see that email? Because I happened to stumble on it because being the administrator, sometimes they get kicked over to another account that we have for overflow, for bounce backs.
Uh-huh.
And I saw it in that account. And I called him and I said, did you get an email? And he said, yeah. And he goes, but I knew it was spam because I had gotten one about Norman and he doesn't do direct deposit.
Wow. Thank goodness.
Isn't that crazy?
It really
So
is.
anyway, that was totally off topic, but
No, but hey, that's a good warning. We need to give that to people. We need to help people
yeah,
start
for
recognizing
sure.
some of this stuff because I hate when it preys on people, especially on elderly and stuff like
Oh,
that.
Mhm.
That makes me so mad.
yeah. Yeah. And some of the young people even fall for these. Some of the people that fall for these scams, that my friends will tell me, oh, I fell for this scam. They're young. And I'm like, you're young. How did you not know better? You guys are more
Mhm.
tech savvy than we are. But, you know, well, what else are you working on that you want to share with us about? Tell us
Uh,
what's.
Just having fun. Let's see. Calling home. I'm still, of course, still promoting that book because it's kind of important to my heart. That's the one
Oh,
about mom. Yeah. So
yeah.
that one's important to me. So I still do speaking engagements on that from time. I did a grief journaling presentation on that one for people who are going through difficult times right now, and that it was very rewarding in the way that people responded to it.
That's
Oh,
lovely.
that's nice. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about calling home, what the chapters are like?
Um, it's the story. Okay, it's basically a tale of let's see how to describe. It's the journey through grief, but it has a little bit of a magical side to it because it's how a crumbling hotel and a telephone booth and a cemetery join together to help work through some grief. And it's being able to that desire that we have to be able to talk to that person we've lost one more time.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it's about. It's about me rediscovering my mom in a different
Oh,
way.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Right before our mama passed, for Christmas, I was planning a surprise for her, and it actually arrived uh 3 days, I guess, after she had her stroke. So
Oh,
but it was, Priscilla and I had gone through her photo albums and scrapbooks and stuff, and we were just blown away by all the stuff she had been involved in. So I took those home with me and wrote like a little mini biography on our mom and
oh,
had it hard copy printed and bound. For her, I got a hard
oh,
copy cover. For all the family members, I got soft
oh.
cover copies, said
Yeah.
it backwards. But I'm thankful I did it. I was sad that she was not in a position to really appreciate it by the
Hmm.
time her copy arrived. But I read it to her while she was in hospice, and hopefully she heard
Oh,
everything. It was funny because I sat there reading this 20-page book, and it was like full 8.5 by 11 pages. And I walked out into the den and I handed it to my brother. I said, "Here, you want to read this?" He said, "You just read it to me." I had the monitor on. They were like,
oh,
"Oh, that poor guy." He was sitting there listening to me drone on. But
Could have turned,
oh.
see, he left you, he was listening.
that's true. He could have turned it off. In fact, I'm
Mm.
surprised he didn't.
Good
Surprised
point.
he didn't. Like, oh, I'm not listening to this.
That's what a
But,
beautiful
It,
tribute, though. Even though she
yeah.
didn't get a chance to enjoy it in the way that you thought she would, I'm sure she enjoyed that.
Yeah, I hope so. She was such an amazing lady, and just so humble. I didn't get her humility. I got her Graves' disease and her
Hey,
back
mom.
issues. I got my dad's migraines.
hey,
I think
focus on the
Priscilla, they
positive,
passed
like
on some
Christy said,
stuffy stuff to us.
you got her sense of humor
The sense of humor takes it a
and her
long way. That's a
creativity.
good one.
Oh, that's the truth. We did get her sense of humor. She had, how they talk about how right before somebody passes, they will wake up and be more alert than they've been in a long time. That happened with our mom, and
Oh.
thankfully Priscilla and I were both there, and
Oh,
both of our brothers got to see it as well. And she started talking this just 24-hour period,
mhm.
like, and she even seemed like she could hear us when we were talking to her without yelling because she was having so
Oh.
much trouble hearing. And it was so funny because our pastor walked in, and our pastor hasn't been at our church that long. And then with COVID and all that, and with mom being a shut in, she had never really met her. And so she came in and she walked over and patted my mom on the hand, and she said, "Miss Beverly, it's so lovely to meet you. I've heard so many great things about you." And our mom, who had been practically comatose for 2 days, looked at our pastor and said, "It's lies. I tell you, all lies."
Sassy.
Yeah, yeah. sassy. And our pastor just looked at Priscilla and I and said, she's really with it. And we're like,
Yeah, we're like,
we don't understand that, but we're going with it.
I mean, we had
It
heard
was
of
like
the,
her last hurrah. She wanted to be a sass
yeah,
pot one more time.
That's
Yeah,
so cool.
she was
we
the
had heard of that
character.
phenomena, but I had never seen it in action, and it's a little disturbing because it's
It
like
is.
you're ready for the end. You're like,
You're trying to prepare yourself, right?
preparing, yeah, you're preparing yourself, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'm normal again. It's like, wait, what's happening? You know, do we need to
And
change something we're doing? What are we doing? You know,
yeah, really. It's like
so
awakenings where they gave the patients oxygen and all of a sudden they
Oh,
were talking like,
yes.
and I thought, because my brother
Yeah.
had put the oxygen on her for a short time and I'm like, put that oxygen back on her. Let's get her up here. See if we can get her walking around. But yeah, it's funny. We had never experienced it personally, so it was an interesting thing. But we got to see that little sassy
yeah.
side. So I
I
think your
love
book
that.
sounds amazing. I think it would be difficult for me to read it right now, but I
I'm
think I'd
sure.
love to look at it sometime in the near future. Priscilla obviously owns all the Christee Atwood
She
books.
I don't own all of Christie's books. That would be a large library.
15
I do
books.
have these two, and I have David's poetry book that he came out with at the
Oh,
same
how
time.
I didn't even know. See,
sweet.
I'm clueless. I need to be more interactive
He
here.
is very talented.
He really is. It's amazing because when I married him, I did not know he was deep. And this whole poetry thing has just shocked the fire out of me.
Wow.
I saw
Well,
the one he wrote on your Facebook timeline. Was that for your anniversary or for your
Oh, for my
birthday?
birthday, I think.
Yeah, that was so beautiful. I was just like, oh.
I know. I
He's
said the
kind of
same thing.
nice.
I'm like, oh my gosh, that I would be bawling. My husband used to write me love letters, and I saved them all and then lost them in the flood. So I need to make him do that again.
Mm.
Put that man to
That'd be
work.
good. That'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
One of the
Mhm.
things about this book, Christy, it reminds me of what you were saying before about, when you're therapying yourself and you're hearing your mom.
hmm
That made me think of this book because you talk in this book as though you're having an actual conversation with her after she's been gone,
uh-huh.
but it's all in there. It's
Uh-huh.
all in your mind and in your heart, and you know what she would say to you. It's just that process of putting it together that is really good stuff.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate
That's
that.
true. And you think about like a lot of the stuff that you tell yourself that you don't even think about the fact that it's probably your mom's voice telling it to you.
Mhm.
I can only
Mhm.
imagine. Yeah,
The voices
it's
of those that we love are never gone. They're
that's
still
true.
right here with us. If you just got to listen, and we're not good at listening, so we forget about that.
True. Although
Yeah.
sometimes we hear them come out of our own mouths too.
That too. Yes. Yes, I have definitely done that.
I've
I've
never
had,
been one of those people. You know how people will say, I never want to be my mom?
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't me. I was like, I want to be just like my mama. I
Oh,
always had that idea. I want to be just like mom because our mom was awesome. We never argued with our mom ever.
mm-mm.
I
It's
can
that's
so
remember
great.
having
classy.
one argument with my mom as an adult and then feeling so horrible about it and saying, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Mom kept saying, stop, you
Mhm.
just had your own opinion. Stop worrying about it. But no, I was like freaking out about it.
Such a special lady, she sounds like. Wow.
Oh, yeah, she was pretty cool. Oh
I don't know if I'd ever live up to being as classy as mom.
my gosh, I know. I told Priscilla that the other day. I said, Lord, we can't try to live up to that.
It's the blend with dad, I guess. I'm lowbrow. Usually when I hear stuff come out of my mouth, it's stuff dad said that I can't repeat on this podcast.
So just to give you a frame of reference, Jeff Dunham is, right? The
Yes,
ventriloquist.
yes.
Walter?
Huh.
Walter,
Yes.
That's
that's
my
our
dad.
dad.
Is that your dad?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now I know your dad. Okay.
He even looked like Walter. And somebody,
He
it
knew
might have even
he did
been,
too.
huh?
He knew he did too.
He knew he did, yes. He would even say
Yeah.
things that Walter said deliberately to be funny.
Uh-huh.
And one of the kids, it might have been PJ, one of the kids bought him a, do you remember, Chris? They bought him a
Uh-huh.
bobblehead, a Walter bobblehead.
Uh-huh.
And you could press the
Oh,
button and it would say the lines that Walter says. Can't say them on here.
Yeah,
I'd
we
have to
can't.
restrict
yeah,
our
right.
podcast.
Oh
But
my gosh.
yeah, for
We'd be
sure.
bleep, bloop, bleep.
I had to
uh,
bleep Priscilla one time on our podcast.
You'd have to blur my lip flap.
Christy, so we want to honor your time, and so we want to wrap it up. But unless Priscilla has another question that we missed.
Oh, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but
Well,
everything you need to know about Christy can be found on her website. That is
yeah.
very all-encompassing. It's awesome.
And it's easy to find because it's Christee, CHRISTEE.net.
Uh-huh.
Everything's on there, but make sure you look at it all because it's a
Yeah.
lot and check out that
Scroll,
resources
click.
page. But as a parting question, Christy, what is something that, and I hope I'm not putting you on the spot, but what is some project that you've thought about doing and you're not in the process of doing, but eventually someday you would like to do?
um, pretty easy one to say because I have a book that I really want to do on personal and professional development that would be a book club. It would be each chapter is about one skill, one competency that people have, like communication or self confidence and things like that, where I write about it and then have questions that would people would be able to answer and have a book club discussion with it. And I just thought that's the way to help people like who are working towards leadership roles instead of doing a book on here's leadership skills. Instead, showing them information about the skill, but then asking them questions to make them realize what skills they already have and what they can work towards.
Ooh, I like that.
So kind of
I'll
different.
buy that one.
Okay.
Sign me up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like mostly soft skills kind of things.
Yeah, uh-huh. Just those things that people, really need to know to be successful in the world. And then that's things like dealing with other personalities, things like being self-confident, things like problem solving and decision making, different topics like that, we could all use a little bit of help on sometimes.
Wow, that's awesome.
So that's on my back burner.
Oh, I
Like
can't
that.
wait. Wow,
Yep.
you have done so many amazing things and are doing so many amazing things. And so we recommend everything, Christy, podcast, books, everything. So you guys check it out.
Amen.
We'll put her website link in our show notes. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank y'all so much. This has been a blast. I love visiting with the sisters.
We love you.
And the
We love
sisters love
having
me
you
too.
on.
Well,
What
This
did
is
you say,
fun.
Priscilla? I'm
I said we
sorry.
love having Christy on.
Oh, for sure. For
I would love to have Christy off too.
sure.
A party. Let's have one of your
let's
parties.
do an elastic waistband party.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
All right.
I want to have a party.
Okay.
Where can we have a party? Not in my house. It's too small. We need a we need a
I know
venue.
a church that's
Find a
willing to lend
venue
their
and I'm down. I'm
fellowship
with you.
hall.
I'm there.
We
Why
got-
don't we do the book release party for the Elastic Waistband Society with you guys?
That
Yeah,
would be
I
awesome.
would love that.
I'd love to come down there and do it down
100%.
there.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
Okay. It's
Keep
a deal.
on us because we have ADHD.
Yeah.
Ditto.
We
Ditto.
Keep
All right. Sounds like a plan.
poking us.
Thank you, Christy. We love
Thank
you.
y'all
We love
so
you.
much. This has been wonderful. Y'all are fabulous. Love you girls.
Love you.
Bye.
That was awesome. Christy is so great. I just love talking with her. We could talk to her all day.
Yep.
And
Easily.
she's got enough topical areas to talk all day, too.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you have any marinade for us to marinate in?
I do. I
Okay.
do. Here's what I want you guys to marinate on or in. Marinate in. This has a lot to do with some of the quotes that you mentioned at the beginning with your hot sauce. Like when we're looking at the way we see ourselves and whether or not we should try to change ourselves to be like other people or to make them like us more. And I tend to be a people pleaser. And you know how you'll hear something over and over again, but when it's said a certain way is when it finally hits you how true it is. This is something that hit me. I was finishing up the year last year and I did a screenshot of the Bible plan, one of the days of the Bible plan that I did, because it was the one by Rick Warren. And he said something in the December 28th devotional that really struck me that I had not thought of that way before. And it was, he was talking about how some of us tend to be people pleasers and we're so bent on that we try to change ourselves to please other people. And he said you shouldn't do that. And this is what he said that really struck me. He said even God can't please everybody. Only a fool would try to do what even God can't do.
Hmm.
And it just really hit me. I had never thought of it from that perspective. Even God can't please everybody. So why do we think we need to?
It's true.
And that's it in a nutshell. I just thought that was so poignant. What a great point, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think some people probably try to argue with that, but the fact of the matter is that pleasing people is not about you. It's about them, because some people just will not be pleased
Mm-hmm.
no matter
No
what.
matter what you do, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not looking at it what you do in context. They're looking at it in the wrong context, I should say. So
Good thoughts.
something for y'all to marinate in this week. And while you're doing that, make yourself a priority.
And take care of you.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. Make sure you subscribe to keep up on all the latest sauce. See you next time.